So hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna learn about Pythagorean Theorem, however you wanna pronounce it. But today we're gonna learn Pythagoras Theorem. So Pythagoras Theorem basically says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So here I already draw a triangle here, which is ABC, and it's not necessary that this this side has to be A or this side has to be B, but this side has to be C because usually in math we always represent the C side, the C variable in a triangle with the hypotenuse or hypo. So you will be thinking that why this formula applies, why is it so, what does it prove, why does this theorem prove, so why? So what actually happens with this triangle, with the specifically right angle triangle, as you can see here, right angled triangle. So when we have this triangle, so let me just take this whole triangle. So here we have our triangle. To sugar we will need space. So let me show you through an example. So firstly, let's give this right angle triangle some sides. So assume this is side 3, this is 4, and this is 5. I'm drawing it inside for a reason, and you'll get to it. So now what will happens is the Pythagorean guy, or whoever is it, because we really don't matter, and we never asked it, but how do you prove it basically? So when we have the side, so side 3, right, we'll make a square, basically, a square. And right, the square right here, a 3 by 3 square touching the right angle triangle. So that's your 3 by 3 triangle. Same will go with 4 and then with 5. So with 4 we'll go 4 units. We'll go down 4 units because we want to make a square. So that's your 4 by 4 or 4 centimeter square. Let me label it to like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's exact. That's why I'm using a grid paper to have the exact level. You guys know how to exactly what I meant, and then we'll go with 5. And this is not accurate as much as to a 5 by 5, but I'm assuming this is a 5 by 5 square. Assume this is 5 by 5 square. Okay. And so now what really happens here is if you take these boxes of 3 by 3, so if you take these 1, 2, 3, so these 3 boxes, if you place it right here, it's not necessary you have to place here, you could put anywhere around these three sides, but just for now we'll just say those 3 sides go to here. The other 3 sides, so these sides, just say they are 4, 5, 6. So the 4, 5, 6, those three can go here, 4, 5, 6. Same way, the last one here, it's 1, 2, 3, we'll just say 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 will go right here. So now if you look at it, and if we make a borderline over now, this is our new line, new box, then you would realize that this is now a 5 by 5 square. How? So let me just count. Look, if you count here now, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. Let me show you again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and oopsie, same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that triangle equals this triangle. So from literally this example, you just can say that purple equals cyan, right? That they both are now 5 by 5 centimeter, right? So now let's do some examples. So here we have our first example. We have a right angle triangle, and you're supposed to find the hyposide or hypotenuse side. So first, let's try our equation. So our equation a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now how about we also say the side, which is a, which is b. For now, we'll say this is a. With a different color, we'll say this is b. And with a different color, we'll say this is c. Great. So now we'll just write. We'll put these. We'll put the values into this equation. So up here, so the first one is our a square, which will be this bracket. Then we'll have our second bracket, and then we'll have our third bracket, which is not third bracket, but equal c squared. As we know, our a's are 6, so we'll put 6, b is 8, we'll put 8 equals c squared. So if you're really smart, you would know what's a 6 squared, and you don't just put it in a calculator. It's really easy to put it, and that gives us 36. Similar way, you put 8 squared, which is basically 8 times 8, which is 64, equals c squared. And when you add these two, you get a value of 100 equals c squared. And now you'll be thinking this is your final answer, but actually not. This is not our final answer. We need to get rid of this square. So how we'll rid up is we'll basically do square root of 100. So how it will look like, the 100 will equal square root of 100. And if you really put it in a calculator, that gives us 10. So I didn't put units, I didn't put the units, so I'll just say this is in units. Let's just say units, in units, in units, and so now, so this side up here, our question mark side is 10 units. Let's do another example. So let's say we have, but this time let's say we have an inverted triangle. Oops. So we have inverted triangle, and now we have a rectangle up here. And you think it's the same to the previous question? Yeah, it is actually same to the previous equations. But the thing is, this time is it's flipped, and honestly, it really doesn't matter how flipped or how angled is the triangle is. You just have to make sure that it's a right angle triangle, and then you could apply your Pythagorean theorem. Let me write again. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and always you're finding the opposite side of the right angle triangle, or c value. So same thing, we'll sub in our values. This time How about let's just say this is A, because you guys would be thinking, why not you choose A? He always chooses the base, or we'll choose that. Nope, it really doesn't matter. Just put the values because at the end those two add. Let's say 12 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 12 times 12 is 144 plus 5 times 5 is 25 equals c squared. You add those two up, c squared equals 169. You put the square root because you need to get rid of this square. C root 169 equals 13. That's your answer. Yeah. One thing keep in mind that there will be some word problems as well, because of course your teacher are not gonna give you the triangle by itself and just sub in the values, right? You need to work. Your teacher needs you to do some work, so it will be word problems, but don't worry about it. You're just learning about right angle triangle. So your word problems about right angle triangle, the angle is always going to be 90 degrees. It really doesn't matter. But for sake of your study, sake of mine, we'll do one more last example, which will be a different one. So here again we have a triangle. Again, it has to be a right triangle, then only you could apply your Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Our values this time, let's say it's gonna be 8 and 17. And yeah, you would be thinking why he picked these values. So I picked these values because this value is given exact whole number and not a not a decimal. I would say not a decimal, because yeah, your teacher could give you any random numbers and the answer might be in decimal. Let me show you why. So why decimal? Because of the root, because only the perfect square I meant is 13 times 13. But only the perfect square numbers has whole numbers, just like here. This cancels out and 13 is left. But it's always not necessary. Your there can be an 8 under it, which for that you need a calculator. And if it's not a calculator based test, you're good to go because their numbers are always gonna be a whole number, not a decimal, so you don't have to worry about it. And even if it's that, so let me before I show you this example, let me show you this what I meant actually. So this is another part, but for this root of 8, so basically root of 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. You'll be learning this further, but just in case if you're studying IB or any other courses, this may come up and you need to find out like what would be the answer. So here square root always work in 2. So to get rid of the square root you need two numbers. So here you already have these two numbers. So that's basically 4 times 2 over root. So you could also write this as 4 root times 2 root. Not technically, you could write it because at the end these would cancel out, but would not go as that way. But it kind of basically reads like this. Not this even, just say it's this because it will help you much better. So So we know the square root of 4 is 2, so 2 times root 2 is just 2 root 2. That's it. That's how you find anything. Just get a pair or just make a perfect square number with your value and you could do it just a little faster. I'll just show you another example, which is 27. That's basically 3 times 9 root. This gets out because it's a perfect square. It's just 3 root 3. Simple as that. It could change, numbers can be higher, it really doesn't matter. You always follow this step. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get example was quickly drawing this triangle. Example was 817. And you're supposed to find this. What dimension? It's a right angle triangle. It's simple as that's 817. You're finding this side. You'd be thinking that we never learned about this, but guess what? It's always in this equation. Yes, what you do is you rearrange, you rearrange the formula. Yes, you basically rearrange the formula. So for here, we'll assume that this is A, and of course this is C. It always has to be that because I talked to you before about this. And so we need to solve for B. We don't have B. So what we will do is because A squared, so we need to get rid of this A. So what we will do is we'll subtract both sides by A squared. So A squared minus A squared plus B squared equals C squared minus A squared. This cancels out because 0 A squared is basically 0. The 0 times A squared is 0. So anything times 0 is 0. So that gives us that B squared equals C squared minus E squared. Now we'll put our values. Our A was 8 and our C was 17. Okay, so we put it so B squared equals 8 square. No mind, sorry, not A square. Or C, you have to put RC. So 17 square minus 8 square equals B square. Why 17 square is, if you really put it in a calculator, it's 289 minus 8 times 8 is, we know that 64, and that give us, so B square equals B square. Don't forget to put B square, so B square equals 225, and you need to always get rid of the square. I'm always mentioning because most of the people forget to get rid of the square and they don't get full marks. 7, therefore B equals root. That's not a good root, but that is 225. And if we put in calculator, that's basically 15. 15 units, anything depending on the question. Depending on the question, you have to put that at the end because some teachers make marks because they don't like you. And so that is what Pythagorean theorem with different examples I showed you looks like. It's really easy if you practice, and if you need any help you can put in the comment section why is it so. um, my team and I will try to respond to as faster as possible. Till then, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe.